Welcome to Data Visionary Talk. Here with me is Scott from Schneider Electric. Thanks for being here with us. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what you do and anything you want to say about you actually?
Well, thanks for having me. Number one, Scott San Antonio with Schneider Electric, and I'm a director of our Global Strategic Alliances organization. And as part of that, I manage our relationship with NetApp.
And we are actually so happy to have you. We just met, but my history with Schneider has been for the last couple of years, and I just love working with Schneider people. Everyone I've met make me, you guys are such a great people. And on top of that, you have something interesting to say. I had the pleasure to see your session, and can you give us a little bit of a summary? What were the key takeaways from your session?
Sure. So the title of the session was Flexibility and Resiliency at the Edge. I got a lot of good feedback afterwards. A lot of clients came up, and the message really resonated with them that more and more in this world of IoT and the kind of aggregated data leading up to analytics engine, that data that's being created at the edge, wherever that is, and sometimes that's closer than we think, and it's not always a small little device, sometimes it's something big, but wherever that data is, it's very, very important to the entire life cycle of decision making. And so clients want to make sure that that information is being captured and acted upon the right way. So the solutions we talked about really made a lot of sense for them.
That's always good to hear, isn't it? Makes you feel good about your job, that you're doing the right thing. You didn't mention edge data. Well, I work in marketing. I'm not a technical person, but it does sound like a really like the next buzzword for, at least to me. Would you tell me a little bit about what edge data is and why it's important, why it's exciting?
Sure. Sometimes it's easier to explain what something isn't than rather what it is. So what edge data isn't is, again, based on size. It's not necessarily a small device. If you manage a whole system of hospitals, it could be your edge data is maybe this, a particular ward in a hospital. It could be a point of sale application. And it's not necessarily the size either. It could be a whole data center. It could be your edge if you're part of a, colo or cloud type organization. So edge data is really wherever the application is and where something transpires. And again, that information is important to an analytics engine. And again, you want to sometimes be able to have that southbound control from a centralized standpoint.
Thanks. Now I finally know what it actually is.
I'm glad I could help.
So you mentioned, for example, hospitals, and I know one of your key solutions that is actually based on FlexPod, which we're always happy to see, because FlexPod is our baby with NetApp, between NetApp and Cisco. And so you mentioned that you work with hospitals. I know one of your use cases for this particular solution is for hospitals. So if you can tell me a little bit about, where else do you use it and what it's like and why is it such a popular solution? Because it seems like there's a lot of interest from the industry. And I personally found it fascinating because I saw it and I didn't really realize there was FlexPod inside.
Yeah. Well, again, we have a whole host of families based on the application. We have ruggedized industrial solutions. The solution that we're showcasing here today is for a remote office, branch office, so it's soundproof, so you can't hear the servers or the fans inside. It's very, very secure from a physical standpoint, and it's very easy to monitor and manage remotely, so you don't need an on-site IT department. So it's very applicable to, let's say, a nurse's station in a hospital, higher education, let's say inside a principal's office, something like that, or again, like a remote retail location, that type of setting. We're seeing so much more compute being pushed to those locations. It's that much more important to have some sort of solution for them.
And for me, honestly, it sounds like a powerful piece of tech, but it not only is a great solution that is easy to use. You don't really need a tech department to manage it on site, but it actually looks really cool. For me as a marketer, the packaging of the product is almost as important. And technology doesn't seem to be very sexy these days, but I'm starting to change my mind when I actually saw your solution. And is there a secret behind that?
Well, I think it's a lot of listening to customers and trying to get ahead of the trend so we're there and have the solutions they need as they adopt new technologies.
Absolutely, customers are always right. And they seem to be doing a good thing with their feedback because I think it looks amazing. It's definitely one hell of a sexy rack.
Glad you like it. That's great.
So before we go, I have a surprise question for you. What would be the superpower you could have? What would be the superpower you would like to have?
That's a tough one, but maybe reading minds would always be nice, especially when you're in sales. But I was kind of jealous of Superman being able to fly. Instead of having to check my bag and get on an airplane tomorrow morning, if I could just fly home, that would be great.
Yeah, honestly, I would like to have that as well. Not sure about mind reading though. It could be exhausting and scary.
That's true. You got to be careful what you wish for, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us at Data Visionary Talks. Thanks for watching.